Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Coding Academy, where I walk you through some free code camp and we will be coding together. So starting off where we left off at updating object properties, we will click on this and we will go for about 4 or 5 of them. Alright, so starting off, updating object properties. After you've created a JavaScript object, you can update its properties at any time, just like you would update any other variable. You can use either dot or bracket notation to update. For example, let's look at our dog. Const our dog equals name camper, legs 4, tails 1, friends everything. Since he's a particularly happy dog, let's change his name to the string happy camper. Here's how we update his object's name property. Remember, this is the object right here, and then the property is right here, and then the value is right here. So when we want to update happy camper, we're wanting to update the value. So we will call the object, our dog. We will say what property we want to change the value of, which is .name, this property. And then we will place in the value happy camper. Our dog name equals happy camper. Now when we evaluate our dog.name, instead of getting camper, we'll get his new name, happy camper. That is a lot of happy campers there. Update the my dog object's name property. Let's change her name from code to happy coder. You can use either dot or bracket notation. So we go over here, we see our object, we say, okay, it's const my dog. This is the object, it's got the equals and then the brackets. We have our properties on the left, we have our values on the right. Now it wants us to change this, but it doesn't want us to change the object. It wants us to manipulate and change it from outside of the object. So for example, it wants us to call the object, and then it wants us to say what we're going to call, which is the name. And then it wants us to tell us what to change the value to. So remember, this is the property, and now we're going to change the value. And when we do that, and we're using the dot notation, not the bracket notation, boom. Add new properties to a JavaScript object. You can add new properties to existing JavaScript objects the same way you would modify them. Here's how we would add a bark property to our dog. Our dog.bark, bow wow. Or our dog, parentheses, brackets, bark, bow wow. Now when we evaluate our dog.bark, we will get his bark, bow wow. Reminds me of that song, the bow chicka wow wow, what you gonna do? Const. Our dog is the object. These are the properties. These are the values. Now it's interesting. Tails is plural. But realistically, how many dogs have more than one tail? It makes me want to write a poetry about this, because this is a very interesting topic. But that's besides the point. Into the point, add a bark property to my dog and set it to a dog sound such as hoo. You may use either dot or bracket notation. Which reminds me of the song, Who Let the Dogs Out? Ho, ho, ho. So, isn't it crazy how many associations we can make when we're just trying to learn how to code? Anyways, we got our object here, const my dog. We know it's an object because there's an equal and a brackets. We see the properties, name, legs, tails, friends. We see the values, happy coder 4, 1, FreeCodeCamp, campers. Now it wants us to add bark, so we want to call our object, my dog, and then we want to add the bark. So we're going to do dot bark, and then we're going to add that nice little woof. That hoo. Little hoo. You know what I'm saying? Hoo. Delete properties from a JavaScript object. So we can also delete properties from objects like this. And when we delete the properties, guess what also is deleted? Yep, if you guess value, you are correctamundo. And remember, we don't want to change the object in this. We want to change it outside of the object. So we want to use delete, which is already a function defined in JavaScript. And then we want to call our object, my dog. And then we want to say which one we want to delete. And if we go down here, it says delete the tails property from my dog. So we're going to delete tails from my dog. And with a little semicolon. And oh, look at that. 100%. So using objects for lookups. Objects can be thought of as a key value storage like a dictionary. And this is in reference to data structure, which you most likely will learn on later on in the data structure portion, or in our class if you decide to take it, potentially. But anyway, key value storage. We got the key and the value. We got the property and the value. If you have tabular data, you can use an object to look up values rather than a switch statement or an if-else statement. So you got options. You got the tabular, which is object-oriented. You got the switch statement, which is as such, or you got the if-else statement, which is kind of like a lot because there's a lot of these that kind of fill it up, and it's not really helpful when you're looking through and shifting through and you're just like, ooh, there's so many of those. This is most useful when you know that your input data is limited to a certain range. So if you know your object doesn't have a lot of information in it, and you know exactly what you want to call, and you call it, it is great for that. So when you don't know what to call it, and it's more so like, hey, maybe the user input might be an alpha. All right, print out alpha. Maybe it's Charlie. Okay, print out Charlie. But if you really, really know, and it's short and concise, and you got a nice object, and you're aware of it, and they're aware of it, and everyone's aware of it, this could work out really nicely because it's clean, it's precise, and key value storage is nice. All right, so it says const article author equals article author. So right here, const article author is the variable we will be storing this information into. It's const, so we're not going to change it. So it says article. It's like, hey, go to the article, go to the object article, and then go to the property author and put that value into this variable. So it says, hey, go to the object, now go to the property inside the object, and take that value and place it into this variable, which will not change because it's const. And then for this one, it says article link, new variable. We're going to store something in this new variable. It will not change. Go to the object article, find link, and place this value into article link. And this will not change. And whenever we call or we return article link, it will return this value. So const value equals title. It's taking this right here, and guess what? Filling it up with the value. Const value lookup equals article value. So it's saying, okay, this is a new variable we are creating. We're going to go to article, and we're going to find value, and we're going to place it in there, which is whatever that value ends up being, which you got to find out. And if you find out it's right here, then you go to title, and what is value lookup? It's the string of title, because now this one is calling this variable, and this variable is equal to this title property, and this title property is equal to this value. So this value is stored in here and in here. So it says convert the switch statement into an object called lookup. Use it to look up val and assign the associated string to the result variable. So we got all this. Let's create our object. I'm going to create, and remember, if you ever get stuck, you can always look at this. Const obj, but we can also call it lookup to make it easy. And then we're going to take all this and simply refactor it into an object. So there's multiple ways to do that. You can just honestly copy and paste, since it's already there for you. I mean, some people like to write it too, but I mean, if it's there, it's there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like a new poetry right there. If it's there, it's there. Drop the mic. If it ain't there, it ain't there. Still drop the mic. If it's anywhere, it's everywhere. Drop the mic. Put the mic down, run around, put some flour on you, scream, do whatever feels right. Do whatever feels tight. Tight to the psyche. And as you can see, we're literally just copying and pasting, and we're getting rid of so much redundant information because we don't need case anymore. We don't need to say result anymore. We don't need to say break anymore. It's so simplistic. We are chopping it down even more than the if-else statement, which, in my opinion, is awesome. The more concise you can get with your code, the more you will have a good mother load. And that was just created just this minute. We are on a rhyming streak. And don't forget that semicolon at the very end right there. And as you can see, now we have our object. And we can delete all this redundant, unnecessary switch statement stuff. Get rid of it. Say bye-bye. See you in another life. Or ever. Never ever. Who knows? So we got that done. Here is our object. And then we have result equals lookup val. So we take result and we say, okay, call the object lookup and then store the value in result. See, if you look up here, function phonetic lookup val, we have an empty string result, and then we're saying result, okay, go into the object and store the object. Whatever val ends up being, you're going to store it in here. Say someone types in atoms, or someone types in alpha, they're going to get atoms. Someone from the keyboard types delta, you're going to get Denver. And the way we can also check this is if we do a console.log, wrap this puppy around town, and check to see what it does. Look at that, Chicago, because guess what? They put in Charlie down here. Charlie, the property Charlie equals to the value Chicago. So when we do console.log, we're saying, hey, input this to the output screen. I want to see what's going on. And once we press return result, it does so. This phonetic lookup tells us what we want to check. So we're calling the function phonetic lookup, which is above. And maybe we say, hey, let's see if this works. Foxtrot. Yep, works. Calls Frank. Phonetic lookup is the function that this object is inside of. So phonetic lookup contains an argument val from the person writing the val, which is what we were doing. Const lookup is the object. Console.log is, hey, we want to see output to the screen. Result is where we want to store the output from input to the output. And lookup is the object. We put in val, so whatever they put in, they say, oh, is it Foxtrot? Well, let's see. Foxtrot? Yep. Return Foxtrot. Hey, is it Delta? Well, let's go see. Delta equals Denver. Okay, put in Denver. Return Denver. So it works. Unless it doesn't. Who would know? Alright, everybody. So that's going to be the end of this lesson. We are doing a little shorter for today. But if you are enjoying these tutorials, definitely check out Spicy Coding Academy. We are a tiny but powerful coding academy. We are not a boot camp because we actually have fun. There's a lot of coding boot camps that pride themselves in making it dreary and long and boring, and you'll learn a lot, but you'll have to work hard, and it'll be boring, but we don't do that. You get to work hard and have fun and be a part of a community and learn and laugh and read stories together. Not just stories, coding stories. This all is part of a huge incentive to help people feel that they can learn coding, that they can have fun, that they can enjoy what they do. And the doors are wide open. Once you learn how to code in one language, there are so many different careers that you can explore. We particularly are helping people explore the front-end web development career. But that doesn't mean that you can't take JavaScript once you learn it in our course and learn how to make apps, learn how to do other things with JavaScript. There is a lot to do with JavaScript that is still being done. It's one of, I think, one of the most popular coding languages in the world. So if this is something you want to partake of and you enjoy tutorials, you enjoy learning together, you enjoy people, seeing people's faces, learning, you enjoy eating food while you're working, this is for you. Come check us out. We have a link in our description and our bio where you can sign up. And remember, we are a tiny community, so there's only so many people that we can take in each time. So better to sign up sooner than later. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the day. Enjoy yourselves and enjoy coding.